You're listening to the Nichole Banks Podcast, episode 122. It aches in places no one sees. Welcome to the Nichole Banks Podcast, where divorced women heal, grow, and find new love and dare to begin thriving. I'm Nichole, your divorce recovery coach and happy hour queen. If you're a Gen Xer ready to shake things up, level up, and have some fun, you're in the right place. Buckle up. We're getting into today's episode starting now. Well, good morning, and hello. Welcome back to the Nichole Banks Podcast. Of course, I am your host, Nichole Banks. I am so beyond grateful that you are here. Happy Monday to you. Today's episode is a quiet one, not loud, not hypey, not here are the 5 things you need to do. Of course, those are also helpful. But today, we're talking about the kind of pain that doesn't announce itself, the kind of pain that doesn't fall apart in public, the kind that doesn't show up in pictures, the kind you carry while still getting through your day. Because some pain doesn't scream, it just lingers. And it aches in places no one sees. If you've been feeling that, this episode is for you. There's a kind of pain that doesn't announce itself. It doesn't fall apart in public, like I mentioned. It doesn't look dramatic enough to explain. It doesn't come with the moments people expect. It literally just lingers. It shows up in the pause before you say, I'm fine, in the way your chest tightens for no clear reason, in the silence after the house finally settles and your thoughts get loud. And this right here is the part of healing after divorce no one really talks about. Not the legal ending, not the paperwork, the emotional aftermath. I want to say this clearly because I know someone needs to hear it. If it still hurts, that does not mean you're failing. It means you cared. I remember standing in the kitchen one night staring into the refrigerator. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't crying. I just felt empty. The divorce was finalized. Life had technically, quote, moved on, unquote, right? And I remember thinking, why does this still hurt? That was the moment that something clicked for me. Healing doesn't end when the relationship does. It begins when the noise stops, when the adrenaline fades, when you're no longer in survival mode, when you finally have the space to feel. Here's the thing. Absolutely no one prepares you for the emotional whiplash of healing. One day you laugh, like really laugh, like gut laugh, right? And then you feel guilty for it. The next day, a memory hits you like out of nowhere and takes the air completely out of your chest. You can be functioning, productive, capable even, and still feel deeply unsettled. That doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you are processing. You're processing the loss. You're processing the steps of grief. You're processing the marriage that was, the plans that were, the relationships, right? You're not just grieving a marriage. You're grieving the version of you who believed certain things would last, the future you imagined, the predictable upcoming birthdays and anniversaries and the parties and the events that you attended, the woman you had to become just to survive. That kind of grief doesn't resolve on a timeline. It doesn't. This part really matters because so many women confuse loneliness with readiness, and they are not the same thing. I learned this in a really unexpected moment. I ran into a family friend at the grocery store, and someone who had known us for years, someone who hadn't heard that we were divorced. They smiled and asked how we were doing, said his name casually like nothing had changed. And for a split second, my brain froze. Do I explain? Do I correct them? Do I just let it pass? So I said it quietly, awkwardly. Oh, we're divorced. And then there was that pause. You know the one, the, oh, I didn't know pause. And suddenly I wasn't just standing there, I was back in it. The explaining, the adjusting, the reminder that my life didn't look the way people expected it to anymore. I smiled, I nodded, I moved on. But later, when I was alone, I felt it, that ache. And here's the thing, it wasn't because I wanted the marriage back, it wasn't because I doubted my decision. It was because moments like that remind you that your world changed, even when everyone else's has stayed the same. That's loneliness. The difference? Loneliness doesn't mean something is wrong with you, and it doesn't mean you need to rush into something new. Trust me when I say that. Ladies, please listen up. Loneliness doesn't mean something is wrong with you, and it doesn't mean you need to rush into something new. Sometimes loneliness is just what happens when life changes faster than your heart can catch up. Readiness feels different. Readiness is grounded. Readiness is calm. Readiness is choosing connection, not reaching for distraction. Loneliness says, I don't want to feel this. Readiness says, I know who I am, even here. And confusing the two, that's how we rush healing. That's how we bypass ourselves. Sometimes loneliness isn't a signal to move faster, it's an invitation to slow down and listen. And let's pause for a moment. Ask yourself truly, truly, are you ready or are you lonely? Because you have to remember, healing doesn't happen in leaps, it happens in layers, peeling them back one by one, very similar to an onion. Some days you'll feel strong, some days the ache will surprise you. It literally like lurks in places you don't even realize that it's going to happen. Both can be true and still mean you're healing. You don't need pep talks, you don't need pressure, you don't need someone telling you just to move on. I like to smack those people. I'm not kidding. I will throat punch a gal that says you just need to move on. I am like, they don't get it. They don't get it. You need validation, language for what you're feeling, and support that doesn't rush your heart. One day, quietly, you'll notice something different. You'll breathe a little easier. You trust yourself a little more. The ache softens. It doesn't disappear overnight. It just stops running your life. That is real healing. This is why I wrote How to Navigate Heartache, Healing, and Love After Divorce. Not to fix you, not to rush you, not to tell you who to be next, but to walk with you through the emotional layers of heartbreak, healing, and eventually love. This book gives you words to what so many women feel but can't explain. It validates the pain and it gently guides you forward without skipping the truth. If your heart aches in ways you can't explain, this book was written with you in mind. Read it slowly, underline what resonates, let it meet you exactly where you are. Healing doesn't have to be loud to be real, and you don't have to rush to prove you're okay. I know for a fact my family members kept trying to get me to get out there, date, and be with someone, right? Again, it's a natural thing. You're to partner up, you're to be in a relationship, you're to have a companion in life. And I remember just going, I have no issues. The only thing I'm concerned about right now is if this episode spoke to you, share it with a friend who might need it or save it for yourself. You're not broken, you're becoming. And I'm really glad you're here. Until next time, dare to begin. That's a wrap for today's episode. I hope you're feeling as refreshed as a spiked lemonade on a hot day. If you love what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and spread the love. Want to go deeper? Check out my courses, women's retreats, and the Dare to Begin membership, where we put everything we've learned into action. NicholeBanks.com. Don't forget, I spell my name with an H. NicholeBanks.com. Until next time, keep leveling up and dare to begin.